How many rooms did you have in your house?
4 rooms.
What were the rooms?
Well, the bedroom, the 2 bedrooms, kitchen, and the dining room.
And who slept in the bedrooms?
We slept in the bedrooms. The family was in the bedrooms.
So your father and mother slept in one bedroom. And who slept in the other bedroom?
I slept in the other room. Bala slept
in the other bedroom also?
Yeah.
And your grandfather lived there also?
Yeah, the grandfather lived also. He slept with us too.
Oh, so you all slept in the same bedroom?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
I was little. I had just a crib there.
Well, you were 8 years old. You were 7.
Well, this was like after that. But before that, I was still little, and I just was in a crib.
But then you were sick. Then you weren't little anymore. You were.
I don't remember what it was.
Did
it
you
was
have a
probably
bed?
The same. No, there was no bed.
A bed? Did you have a bed?
Yes, I had a bed.
Okay. And your grandfather had a bed?
Yes.
And Bala had a bed?
Yes.
Okay. And was there a bathroom in the house?
No.
Where was the bathroom?
Outside.
It was a separate little outhouse?
A little outhouse, yeah.
And what was there, just a hole in the ground or a toilet?
A hole in the ground. But a toilet.
And who took the waste out?
The worker took
the worker.
Okay.
There was a Polish worker?
Yes.
Okay. And was there running water in the house?
No.
Mm-hmm.
There was a well, and we had to bring water from the well to the house.
Okay.
And if you wanted to have a bath, you had to heat up the water and then have the bath.
Mm. Did you have a bath?
Yes. Every Friday.
Who heated up the water?
Nanny.
Nanny heated up the water. Yeah. In the house they heated up the water?
Yes, in the kitchen.
In the kitchen. And was there a stove?
Yes, there was a stove, and the stove was a wooden stove that you had to make the fire in the wood, with the wood.
And who cut the wood?
The man, the worker cut the wood.
And like, what else did Nanny make in the kitchen?
Oh, she cooked all the food in the kitchen.
And did she make butter?
She made butter. She made sour cream. What is it called? Milk. Well, that's what it is. Everything she did.
She make cheese.
Make cheese, yes. Butter, cheese.
And where did the milk come from?
We had a cow.
So it came from your cow?
From our cow, yes.
And did you boil the milk? Or do you not remember?
I don't remember, but I think she boiled the milk. You know.
Who milked the cow?
Nanny sometimes, but most of the time the man, the worker did.
You only had one. You had one cow.
Yeah.
And what other animals?
We had horses. 2 horses, I think.
2 horses, and then the ducks and the geese.
The ducks and the geese we had only when they were brought when they bought them and they brought in.
But that was across the street or in your house?
Right, across the street.
Did you ride the horses?
Yeah, I rode the horse.
With a saddle or bareback?
Bareback. I once took the horse to the river where he was drinking, you know. And then he just got up and was running back to the stable, and I was on his back holding on tight.
Do you remember his name?
No. He bit me once, right here on my arm. I was eating a sandwich and I was coming close to him, and he just bit me.
And was there electricity?
Yes, we had electricity because from the mill, they had a generator, and the generator was supplying us for electricity.
So you had lights,
We had lights.
electric lights.
Yes.
Did you have a radio?
I had a radio that was made by yourself. You know, you made the radio, and you listen to the short waves. That's all.
And what happened in the evening? What did you
We went
do
to
in the
sleep.
evening?
In the evening, you went to
After
sleep.
dinner?
After dinner, you went to sleep.
Did you read? Did anyone read?
No.
Did anyone ever come over to the house?
Yes, the neighbors came over sometimes. You know.
What, the Jewish neighbors?
No, not the Jewish neighbor, the gentle neighbor. There was a neighbor right next to us. He was on the train. He was a conductor, and he lived there. Very nice people. You know. They had the cherry trees, and when the cherry trees come to, and to eat,
Ripe.
ripe, then he invited us to go and harvest them and take them.
So he would come over sometimes?
Yes, and he played Gene Rami.
At your house?
Yeah,
With your father?
yeah,
And your mother?
yeah.
And his wife came also?
No, I don't remember. I don't think so.
He just came by himself.
Yeah.
What?
What is this? Those questions.
It's not. It's just for us, so that we have an idea of what life was like then.
Was there music in the home?
There was no music.
No one
Did
played?
you ever go to
Yes,
their
yes.
house, to the neighbor's house?
Yeah, I used to go there by myself.
And why did you go there?
Yeah, just going around.
In the house?
I was in the house too. Yes.
And did it look the same as your house?
No, their house was a nicer house. It was like a cottage, nice. Our house was a ranch house.
And did they have kids?
No.
And did anyone else live around there?
Well, there
That you
were
know?
other Christian families live around, but we never. There was only one more Christian that I, visit them, because they had a swing, and I visit them. And the daughter was sick, so I always visit with her.
And were there any other Jewish families nearby?
Just our Uncle Surek's family was right close by.
And your grandmother? Your great
And
grandmother?
my great grandmother.
And she lived in a big house
She was in a ranch house too.
by herself.
She lived by herself because everybody went out already from the house.
And Sherlock lived also in
Across the street from her house, he built a new house for himself.
Okay. And how far was that from your house?
That just a block.
Okay. I mean, how many houses were there in the village?
In the village, there was a lot of homes.
Was it all on one street?
No. There was you were coming in, and there was a whole section here that was a whole village.
But
And
it was
this-
no Jews lived there?
No Jews lived there.
Huh. So where did the Jews come from to come to the shul?
They
Well, you
lived-
had a shul next to your house, right?
Right. So they came from the close villages, not far away from the.
So there were other villages
walking,
nearby.
they were walking distance.
Did you have an Erev?
No.
And the mill was in Rudniki also.
Yes.
Okay. And Sherlock ran the mill.
This was his mill.
Okay.
And my grandfather, Newson David, he worked with Skulek at the mill. He was the accountant there.
Right. And did Sherlock come to your house?
Yeah, sometimes.
He rode a horse, right?
No,
Oh, I didn't
he had a carriage.
Okay. With a driver, or he drove himself?
Sometimes with a driver, he was wealthy. He was a wealthy uncle.
And how many children did he have?
He had 3 boys. Mundek,
Mundek was the oldest?
the oldest, and then Moti and Henry.
Do you remember the first time you saw a car?
A car I saw when the Russians were there. So they had a truck, the Russian guy, and he took us on the truck for a drive.
Mm-hmm. But you had a wagon.
We had a wagon and a carriage.
A carriage is...
A carriage is like a carriage that they have in Central Park.
And a wagon.
A wagon is just a 4-wheel wagon that you
And then with a
transport all
seat.
kinds of things.
And who drove the wagon?
Sometimes my father, sometimes Wolf, sometimes Bora, because when they bought a lot of geese, so they had to transport them home.
And how far was the train from your house?
The train was about maybe 5 miles or
5 miles.
Yeah.
In Mashiska.
in Rudniki. Oh, Moshiska was, it's called, Moshiska was I think the train was called Moshiska.
5 miles?
Maybe not.
Well, how far was Mashiska from you?
A few miles, 2-3 miles.
3 miles. And you used to walk there?
Yeah.
How often did you walk there?
As often as I wanted.
By yourself?
Yeah.
And it was just through a field, or there was a road?
There was a road. It was through through the village of Rudniki, which had on both sides of the road houses.
And there was a bridge, there was a river in the middle?
There was a little river, but I don't think that there was any water in there.
So the bridges, there were bridges in Mashiska?
Yeah, in Mashiska there was 1 bridge, 2 bridges.
Because that's what the name of the town is, a bridge. Mashiska is, right, bridges.
No.
In Polish, bridge.
Maybe, I don't know.
So, so that was a few miles away.
Yeah.
All right. And where else did you go besides? Did you ever go anywhere else besides Mashiska?
No place. Once I went to Przemyśl with a bus, and they bought me a bicycle in Przemyśl.
Who bought you?
My father, Uncle Wolf, my father was with me, and I also saw a movie. I remember that it was a movie, the locomotive was coming down, it was sitting, special effects movie.
And did you visit someone in Przemyśl?
Yeah, I visit my uncle, or my father's uncle. They were living in Przemyśl.
But was that your father's brother? Did he live there?
Maybe it was the brother, I don't know.
Isaac?
No, a brother was there too, yes, Itzik. Itzik lived there too. But this was an older man, I remember. He was sick, so we came to visit him.
In Mashiska. In
Przemyśl, yeah.
You went to his house?
Yeah.
It was in town?
Yes.
Like a brick?
Like a house.
A townhouse?
Maybe an apartment, I don't remember.